In this installment, we're going to be going over the NBA bet slate for Wednesday, April 3rd. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our Wednesday, April 3rd bet slate in NBA. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about that Patreon. We're going to get to that very, very soon. Right now, we're at the homepage of the YouTube channel, currently at 3.14 thousand subscribers. Appreciate the love and support on each and every video, guys. You guys are doing phenomenally. If you're already subscribed, continue to like and comment. That helps the YouTube algorithm. If you're not subscribed right now, join the community that we're building right now and hit that subscribe button right this second. All right. For the Patreon, we had some beautiful winnings last night. We had 76ers money line, Miami Heat money line that came through, Warriors money line that came through, Warriors money line again, and we hit this parlay here. The key was the Houston Rockets. They came through with that plus 7.5, and that really set off everything. One of my favorite plays late was the Sacramento Kings. They winded up being favorites once they got some news, but this is the original line here. They were underdogs earlier in the day and the previous night. So that hit Miami Heat, Rockets, Cleveland Cavaliers, Warriors, and Kings. Big payout right there. So if you want winning selections, sign up for the Patreon. That link is provided down below. We're going to have futures in there. We're going to get you ready for the NFL draft as well. So sign up right now. The first game we got for the Wednesday slate, we have the LA Lakers here, 43-33, going up against the Washington Wizards, 15-61. Looking at the current odds right now, you can get the Lakers on the money line at a -900 with the comeback of the Wizards at a plus 575. The point spread is at a 12.5 on both sides, and the total is at 234.5. All right, public bet percentage, 93% of the bets on the Lakers, 99% of the money on the Lakers money line. All right. For the point spread, 51% of the bets, 55% of the money towards the Lakers to cover. And for the total, 84% of the bets and 82% of the money towards the over 234.5. All right, for the injury report, as of right now, we're waiting on news for Gabe Vincent. This is a back-to-back for both teams, second part of a back-to-back. Both of these teams played on Tuesday. All right, so they're coming in equal with no rest. All right, so waiting on news for Gabe Vincent. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are daily questionables, but this is a scenario here where the Lakers are trying to move up in the race for the standings here, trying to move up to that 7th spot, hopefully. They're battling with the Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets behind them. All right, so I imagine both these guys are going to be playing to move up in the standings in the Western Conference. All right, for the Washington Wizards, we're waiting on news for Kyle Kuzma, Tyus Jones. Marvin Bagley's probably going to be out. He left the game on Tuesday early. He only played 9 minutes and left with a knee injury. And then we're waiting on news for Rashawn Holmes. All right, so stay to news on RotoWire or RotoWorld. I did provide a link down below so you can stay up to date with injury news. All right, these two teams have already played once already, and that was a couple months ago in February. That game went into overtime, and that total was 265. So that line is a little bit juiced up because it did go in overtime, but I imagine they already scored around that 240 range. Okay. Both of these teams, well, no, not both of these teams. Lakers are red hot, winning 4 out of their last 5. Wizards obviously are struggling, but they had a big win on Tuesday against the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, so they bucked the trend there and beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Now you got a spread here at 12.5. The Lakers are in playoff mode right now. I'm going to take them to cover. I'm going to give you -9.5, but the line is 12.5. If you're willing to take that, go ahead. But I'm going to be giving out -9.5. The Lakers should win by double digits. I hate when it's a 10-point win or 11-point win and they don't cover a spread. Then you get mad. So we're going to take the 9.5. Take the over there. And for the total, both of these teams run at a huge pace. And I checked right here on no rest. 9-3 towards the over in totals. Okay, so we're going to be going with the over in 234. The Lakers are going to control pace just like they did against the Raptors, and it's going to be a constant trying to keep up with the Lakers, putting up points. The same thing the Raptors did, and they couldn't keep up pace, and they got blown out, but they did reach the over in that game. So cover of the Lakers at -9.5 and the over 234. Next game, we have the Portland Trailblazers going up against the Charlotte Hornets. Portland is 19-56. Charlotte is 18-57. Very similar records. These are the two bottom teams in the NBA. Current odds right now, you have the Hornets as home favorites at a -120 with the comeback of the Trailblazers at a +100. The point spread is pretty much a pick 'em here at 1.5, and the total points is 212.5. For the public bet percentage here, 73% of the bets, 92% of the money towards the Hornets on the money line. For the point spread, 70% of the bets, 53% of the money towards the Hornets to cover. And for the total, 86% of the bets and 84% of the money towards the over 212.5. All right. For the injury report right now, we're waiting on news from Matisse Thybulle. He's the only real question mark for the Portland Trailblazers. Shaedon Sharpe was sent down to the G League. All right. For the Hornets, they got a bunch of question marks here. Brandon Miller, one of the main rookies, he's questionable. Grant Williams is questionable, and Vasily Micic is going to be out for this game. Okay. So they could be missing two other main players in Brandon Miller and Grant Williams. This could be really bad for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm surprised that they're still favorited right now. These two teams have already played earlier in the season, and that was a total of 173. So very low total there, and that was a 13-point win by the Charlotte Hornets. Right now, Portland can't buy a win. They haven't won in like 10 games. They are a horrible losing streak right now. Hornets have lost 3 in a row, losing to Golden State, Clippers, and Boston. Plus, you add on top with all these injuries. Currently, if we're looking at the numbers against the spread as home favorites, the Charlotte Hornets are 0-4. All right, they have not covered a spread at home as favorites. So that's already making me lean towards Portland right there. And as favorites in general, they're 1-4 in the entire season against the spread. So I'm going to be going with the Portland Trailblazers on the money line. They seem to be more healthy. They have more talent. I can rely upon DeAndre Ayton and Scoop Henderson over whatever Charlotte Hornets is going to be putting out on that court. So give me the money line of the Portland Trailblazers and give me the under of the total of 212. We had the previous game at 173, and these two teams here are the bottom pace teams in the league, bottom 7 in pace, the Portland Trailblazers and the Charlotte Hornets. So give me the under 212.5. Next up, we have a premium battle here. OKC Thunder 52-23 going against the Boston Celtics 59-16. Looking at the current odds right now, we have the Celtics at home at a -375 on the money line with the comeback of the OKC Thunder at +290. Point spread right now is at 8.5 on both sides with the total at 231.5. Public bet percentage here, 94% of the bets and 59% of the money towards the Celtics. For the point spread, 52% of the bets, 55% of the money towards the Celtics to cover. And for the total, 91% of the bets and 91% of the money towards the over 231.5. All right. So for the injury report here, it's mainly on the Thunder side where it's key factors. Jalen Williams currently questionable, and SGA is currently questionable. He did not play in the game on Tuesday. All right. So both of these guys, really SGA sat out. So we're waiting on news for these two players. That's going to affect the line, obviously, especially SGA, MVP candidate. For the Boston Celtics, we're waiting on news for Jaylen Brown. He's currently questionable. As for everyone else, they are going to play in this game. For these two teams, they already played in January. That was a total of 250, so very high scoring environment. That's what I imagine. In this same one here in Boston. So my most confident bet right now is going to be the total. if we're just looking at the numbers, this is the second game of back-to-back for the OKC Thunder. They just lost to Philadelphia. Now they're traveling to Boston. And with the over-under, the Thunder on no rest are 8-3 towards the over. So I'm already feeling confident with the over there. We saw the previous matchup that went to 250. This line is at 231.5, so we got a little bit of leeway. So give me the over 231.5. And for the cover, it's a little bit of revenge here for the Celtics. They already lost to this team. I feel confident with that 8.5. I'm going to take the point spread here. Obviously, I want you to wait on news about SGA and Jalen Williams, but even if they're cleared, it might drop down a little bit. So be patient. Be patient with the line, because if SGA and Jalen Williams are cleared, then this line from 8.5 is probably going to go down to 7 to 6 in that range, and then you get a better number. All right, so wait on news, but I still like the Celtics to cover and the over 231.5. Next game up, we have the Indianapolis Pacers, who are 43-33, going up against the Brooklyn Nets, who are 29-47. The Pacers are road favorites right now against the Brooklyn Nets. These two teams have just played on April 1st. Pacers are at a -300 with the comeback of the Nets at a +240. The point spread is at a 7.5 on both sides, with the total at 230.5. For the public bet percentage, 85% of the bets, 70% of the money towards the Pacers money line. For the point spread, 81% of the bets, 78% of the money towards the Pacers to cover. And for the total, 86% of the bets and money towards the over 230.5. For the injury report of the Pacers, we're waiting on news from Miles Turner. He left with an injury in the previous game with a finger injury, all right? So he's currently questionable. We're not sure if he's going to play in this game against the Nets. And for the Nets, we are waiting on news for Dennis Smith Jr. and Cameron Johnson. They're both questionable for this game on Wednesday. All right, these two teams already played twice already this season, both of those games being blowout wins by the Pacers, and both of those games were in Indiana, okay? So change of scenery here. Obviously, this is a back-to-back against the same exact team, and I like to go opposite, and that feeds perfectly with the two-game narrative here of revenge. So give me the Brooklyn Nets with the +7.5. I'll take the points. And for the total, I'm going to be going with the under here. As away favorites, the Indianapolis Pacers are 3-8 towards the under, and as home underdogs, the Brooklyn Nets are 11-12 towards the under. So we're going to be going under 230.5 in this game, and that would be fine with one of the games going 221. That would be perfectly fine for this environment here. But Nets cover and under 230. Next game up, we have the Detroit Pistons, who are currently 13-62, going up against the Atlanta Hawks, 35-40. Looking at the current odds right now, Hawks are home favorites here, big home favorites, -650 on the money line, with the comeback of the Pistons at a +475. Point spread is at 11.5, and the total is at 224.5. Public bet percentage right now, 97% of the bets, 95% of the money towards the Hawks on the money line. For the point spread, 66% of the money towards Atlanta, but 56% of the bets towards Detroit to cover. And for the total, both sides, bets and money towards the over 224.5. For the injury report right now, we're waiting on news for Cade Cunningham and Marcus Sasser. Both of those guys are going to be questionable. Those are both of their starting and backup point guards here. So that could be a major factor here if they do not play in this game. And for the Atlanta Hawks, we're waiting on news for Onyeka. He is currently questionable as of right now with a toe issue. These two teams have already played twice already. This is the third and final matchup. Both games going towards Atlanta, and both games being close, all right? Both games being within 6 points of each other, all right? And the total so far in both of those games is 246 and 254. So huge totals there. So my favorite bet on this particular game is going to be that over 224.5. That is a definite. I love that number there. And what we're going to be going, we're going to go with the value of the point spread. Atlanta seems to struggle against this team. They've been very inconsistent all year. And with all the guys that they have out, I get it. They've been playing a little bit better against Boston and some other teams, but Detroit seems to have their number, at least be there and keep it competitive. So give me that. I want to take the points here to plus 11.5 and the over 224. Next game, we have the Orlando Magic, who are currently 44-31, going up against the New Orleans Pelicans, 45-30. Current odds right now, we have the Pelicans at home as favorites, minus 185, with the comeback of the Magic at a plus 150. Current point spread is at a 4.5, and the total is at 208.5. Public bet percentage, 83% of the bets, 96% of the money towards the Pelicans money line. For the point spread, we have 57% of the bets, 62% of the money towards Pelicans to cover. And for the total, 89% of the bets and 90% of the money towards the over 208.5. For the injury report right now, clean bill of health for the Orlando Magic and the Pelicans. We're obviously Brandon Ingram's out with a knee contusion, and then Jose Alvarado is going to be out in this game as well. For these two teams, they already played earlier in the season. The total was 227 in that one. This game is going to be in New Orleans. Pelicans missing two key players, Brandon Ingram, and then their high up-tempo pace backup point guard, Jose Alvarado. This one is a little bit tough here. Orlando Magic is very strong on the road against the spread. They're 22-14 away against the spread, and as underdogs, they're 23-18. So both of those above 500 numbers there. They're the more healthier team. I'm going to be going with the points here, the plus 4.5 for the Orlando Magic, and I think the total is just a little bit too low. I get it; these are the slower paced teams in the league, but 208, I think they can slightly go over that. Give me the over 208.5. Next game up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies, who are currently 25-50, going against the Milwaukee Bucks, 47-28. Current odds right now, Milwaukee Bucks big favorites here, minus 1,000 on the money line, with the comeback of the Memphis Grizzlies at a plus 625. The point spread is at a 13.5, and the total is at 220.5. Public bet percentage here, 96% of the bets, 92% of the money towards the Bucks. For the point spread, 65% of the bets, 61% of the money towards Memphis to cover. And for the total, 90% of the bets and 87% of the money towards the over 220.5. For the injury report right now, Memphis Grizzlies is going to be without Desmond Bane. He's out. Gonchar somehow went from out to doubtful, and technically that's upgraded, which it is, but take that with a grain of salt. And Vince Williams is still out. All right. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard missed the previous game with personal reasons, so I'm not sure if he's going to play in this one. This is the second game we're back-to-back for the Milwaukee Bucks. They just lost to the Wizards. A lot of people are going to stay away from them just because of that. That what happened last night. Horrible loss there. And then Patrick Beverley is questionable. He left the previous game with an ankle issue. All right. For these two teams. So we got a little bit of revenge narrative here. Memphis Grizzlies won the first matchup in February, and that total was 223. All right, so I'm expecting the Milwaukee Bucks to bounce back. Hopefully we get more news about Damian Lillard. If he's not in, I'm still taking Milwaukee Bucks to cover this number. Minus 13.5, but I'm going to give you minus 9.5. All right, so minus 9.5 on Milwaukee. What was that random noise? All right, and give me the over 220.5. All right, we're looking at the numbers as away underdogs towards the over 20-14 towards the under for the Grizzlies, and for the Bucks they're 19-14 as home favorites towards the over. So both of those numbers are making me lean towards the over 220.5. Next game up, Toronto Raptors 23-52 going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves here 52-23. Raptors right now are big underdogs, plus 800 on the money line. And on the other side, Timberwolves minus 1,400, so huge spread here. Spread is at 15.5, and the total is at 215.5. For the public bet percentage here, the money line here, 96% of the bets, 82% of the money towards the T-Wolves. For the point spread, 15.5, right? 77% of the bets and percentage of the money towards the Raptors to cover. For the total, 92% of the bets, 91% of the money towards the over 215.5. For the injury report, Bad news for Bruce Brown. He left the previous game against the Lakers with a knee injury, so we're not sure if he's going to play in this one. Gary Trent Jr. was ruled out of that Laker game, so you got to wait and watch the news if he's going to be in this one. And for the Timberwolves, same guys are out. Karl-Anthony Towns still out for the year. These two teams have already played, and both of these teams are in the second game of back-to-back, so equal, no rest there. And in the first game, the Toronto Raptors beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 97-94. That was a total of 191 there. Raptors are still on a very long losing streak here. You would think with RJ Barrett back that they play a little bit more inspired basketball. Still same result. They even started Emmanuel quickly. Same result there. I'm going to have to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves to bounce back. Give me them to cover this minus 15.5. I'm going to be giving out the minus 9.5. And for the over-under, I'm going to be leaning towards the over 215.5. The Raptors still can put up points here. Minnesota's going to be controlling pace, and they have a very high pace here with Anthony Edwards and their bigs that they have still. So over 215.5 and the cover of the Timberwolves at 9.5. Last but not least, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers 46-30 going against the Phoenix Suns 44-31. Current odds right now, Suns on the money line at a minus 225. With the comeback of the Cavaliers at a plus 180, the current point spread is at a 5.5, and the total is at 226.5. Public bet percentage, 90% of the bets, 93% of the money towards the Suns. For the point spread, 77% of the bets, 75% of the money towards the Suns to cover, and 81% of the bets and 80% of the money towards the over 226.5. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, we gotta wait on news for Donovan Mitchell. He missed the first game of the back-to-back. This is the second game of back-to-back for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Craig Porter and Isaac Okoro both missed that game as well. So hopefully we get some news on Donovan Mitchell a little bit later in the day. For the Phoenix Suns, Grayson Allen is currently questionable. All right, these two teams have already played once, and that was a 6-point win by the Phoenix Suns in Cleveland. That was a total of 228. So the line is pretty close to what it is currently right now. Phoenix Suns are playing better basketball right now. We just had a hot game from Devin Booker. He put up 52 points in that game against the New Orleans Pelicans. So he has a hot hand right now. And I think they can get things cooking here. So give me the Phoenix Suns on the money line. I'll take the money line here. I'm not going to play with the point spread. If I had to lean with the point spread, I would slightly lean with the plus 5.5 for the Cleveland Cavaliers, just because it was a revenge narrative here. But I do think that the Suns win this game. And for the total, it's set at 226.5. These two teams put up a lot of points here. I see a back and forth environment here, going by what the first game went towards that 228. Suns at home with their high up-tempo pace, and if they're knocking down their threes, I'm going to be going with the over 226.5. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions, any other leans in the slate on Wednesday, let me know in that comment section down below, and I'll be back with another video very soon. All right, peace out.